I first heard about EVS through an advertisement from my sending organisation. So I applied to the sending organisation to move to Malta for a year, and they explained to me that it was an EVS project. My sending organisation and Nature Trust have a connection, and Nature Trust are in charge of the sea turtles in Malta, so it was an obvious choice. I'm in charge of the turtle rehabilitation. So every day I come in, I clean the turtles and their tanks, I feed them, I give them any antibiotics or treatments they need, disinfection of wounds. I take a daily record of any changes in the turtles, whether they ate or not, just general things. And monthly I update a database of their weight and their sizes.
I'm their mentor. My job will be to greet them upon arrival in Malta. Their project can last for anything between 6 months and 12 months. And I basically have to try to keep them as happy as possible. So, being their mentor, I am faced with two parts. First of all, I have to try to make them feel welcomed, to make sure they are doing their job well, to make sure they are working well, and to make sure they are reaching the standards in a way that we want as part of the EVS. However, I also have to make sure they are comfortable. So if they have any problems of any type, being accommodation, being transport, being dynamics, social interactions with their flatmates or whatever, they would approach me. And it would be my job to try to diplomatically solve any problems that may arise. The EVS come here basically for two main projects. The first one is to look after the various sites that we have around Malta, basically Shop Lagin and Witolliqa. By looking after the sites, basically I mean simple things like looking after the plants, so if there needs to be some repotting in the nursery, some weeding around the nursery, that is done, some watering as well, clearing pathways for the public to pass whenever they visit. With regards to Shop Lagin, maybe help around with school visits, so they would take around children around the site. The second part would be then turtle rehabilitation, where our volunteers look after injured or sick turtles that are brought in to Fort San Lucian, and they clean them, feed them, medicate them, and so on, until eventually they can be released when they are healed. We also give them another experience, in a way it's a cultural experience once they are here in Malta. We take them out every now and again, so on boat trips, picnics, hikes around Malta in different areas. If they are not English speaking, we give them English lessons, and sometimes we even give them Maltese lessons. We get many requests from our VS for Maltese lessons. So we have a Maltese teacher, and basically the EVS are exposed to this new language that for them is a mystery, so it's quite interesting for them as well.
Nature Trust has been involved for more than 10 years now. We have had various volunteers coming. Some of them have been very good and we have been informed that they have actually found jobs related to the activity they were doing with us over the years. We feel that the EVS has been a great experience to us, because not only have we seen how other countries work through the ideas also presented by those volunteers who were committed to the project they were doing, but also it has been an interesting experience because these volunteers have worked with our youths as well. They have shared their experiences, they have brought in new ideas, and I feel this is a win-win situation both for our organizations and for the youths that participate in the Erasmus Plus Youth in Action EVS projects. Yes, Nature Trust is an old environmental NGO which was founded in 1962, and today it is working on four main areas. That is environmental education with school children and the public, wildlife rescue, that is we rescue wildlife, rehabilitate them and release them back into the wild, ecological site management, wherein we manage ecologically important sites, and also raising awareness on the need of biodiversity protection and preservation. My job with EVS is that I coordinate the whole EVS project. Obviously, I see the needs of the organization as well, and where we can train the young people to fit into the various activities we do as an environmental NGO. And we issue the calls, so then we can select the respective volunteers to actually come and do their 12 months experience, that is both including boat training and also participating in other activities, not only related to the project but also social and cultural events, so they can get the full experience that they deserve, and at the same time participate in the conservation of nature and environmental education and awareness raising.
Well, first of all, they can learn how to be independent for sure, because they'll be here on their own. So for some of them, it's their first experience. They have to live in a place by themselves. They have to budget their money, because they do have an allowance, but it is not so plentiful, so they must manage the money well. They have to clean the flat where they're staying. They have to prepare their food, and they have to interact with other EVS, of course, and also other persons whom they come into contact with during work or while socializing. Well, first of all, we have a welcoming party when they arrive, and we also organize activities like hikes, for example, walks, and social events. We go sightseeing, visiting places which we think nature trust thinks that might be of interest to the EVS. And we also celebrate their birthdays if they happen to have their birthday while they're here, and also we organize a farewell party when it's time for them to leave.
My job here is every day work with the sea turtles or in botanical garden. In botanical garden we are weeding, planting, watering plants, and 3 days in a week I take care about sea turtles with the other volunteers. I chose Nature Trust because I wanted to find some project with nature, with animals, and I wanted to live in country where is English, where everybody speaks English. So I found Malta and I found Nature Trust there.
Well, I finished school and I looked for something like a gap year, something social I can do after the school, and then I started searching about some gap year or social year, and somehow I found the EVS program and I liked it, and then I applied. Well, 2 times in the week I'm working with sea turtles. I'm feeding them, cleaning them. 2 times in the week I'm working in a botanical garden where I'm weeding, watering the plants, repotting plants. And once in a week I'm working in the Shop-Legine Park, where I'm guiding students around the park and play games with them, where they learn why and how it's so important to protect the nature.
I'm the environmental educator and activities coordinator on behalf of Nature Trust. My job with EVS is to be their nursery mentor and to provide them with several tasks to how to manage properly the nursery. From this experience, the students can learn how to be more responsible, how to build more teamwork, and how to properly manage a nursery and how to keep a very good stock.
The biggest challenge was probably in the beginning. When I first arrived, there was a big cultural difference, and the climate was also very different, but after a while I got used to it and it was okay.
My biggest challenge is to continuously supervise the volunteers simply because everything is new for them and they have to be sort of taught thoroughly.
Well, I think the biggest challenge for me was to live with different people. Well, I actually like to live with different people, but sometimes it's hard if the person would actually be not someone you would choose if you could if you could choose to live with. Sometimes it's hard because they're different than you, and but it's okay.
The biggest challenge here was to live and to work with different people, with people from the south. I'm more from the north, and it was a bit temperament differences, and also the heat is a bit difficult for me here in summer, but it's okay.
My biggest challenge has been adapting to every person and finding out what every person needs, because everyone is different. So one has to tailor his approach to fit sort of the particular person one is dealing with. And this also involves ironing out any difficulties that may arise between the EVS, or also difficulties of a personal nature which one may experience, for example, not being able to cope while here, feeling homesick sometimes. It is these things which provide quite a challenge. We try to get everyone to open up to us and talk freely about their difficulties, and then if they're ready, we can then sort of invite them to take the next step, which is to air their problems together with all the other members of the flat and the other EVSs, and hopefully that will get things sorted out. If this doesn't succeed, then we step in and give directions ourselves.
My biggest challenge would be with homesick EVS. They come here for a long period of time. Some for their very first time abroad, they've never gone to a trip, and then they try to embark on a very large project. And sometimes even 18-year-olds going abroad for the first time for 3, 4, 5 months on end looks very difficult. So they would come to me saying they're feeling homesick, and I would have basically 2 options. The best option would be to keep them here, keep them as comfortable as possible, to make them feel as at home as possible. However, sometimes it's not so easy. So they would be too homesick and they would really want to go back home, and I cannot prevent them from doing so. So then we'd send them back home and replace them with another EVS.
The most memorable thing is definitely working with the sea turtles, but the whole experience in general has been amazing.
Well, I think I will carry the whole time with me because it was a huge experience. All the people I have met from different countries, all the conversations I had, all the work here in Nature Trust, all the places I have seen. So I think everything I will carry with me.
I live here almost 1 year, and it's a lot of experiences, and everything is important for me. All the people that I met, also the work with the animals, and the living abroad is also was a big challenge and big experience for me.